It's a case of not too young to run or not yet ready.
My life starts very early because when I be there 10 years old, police enter my village, scatter the place.
To free movement.
Now violation of my right, my arrest, my detention,
Yes.
my restriction.
Now since that night, now I make decision as a 10-year-old say, when I reach time, I go fight to ensure safety.
We still dey under neo-colonial control. Now we come dey inside internal recolonization by our.
Okay, Omoyele Sowore, the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, joins us now to talk about his presidential ambition and other issues in the AAC. Very warm welcome to News Night.
Thank you for bringing me.
Yeah, and congratulations on emerging again the flag bearer of AAC. So tell us more. The rift in the AAC is going to be settled. You've stepped down as the chairman. How are you uniting? The other aggrieved parties.
It's important to state categorically that it was never the AAC. What happened is what it's very well known in political environment here. When the parties don't compromise the government, so some political interests go ahead and try to hijack the party. And in this case, after 2019 election, we started planning other means of engaging and strengthening the government power. They made an attempt to hijack the party. And while we were challenging, I was arrested and detained for 4 months. And when I came out of detention, they had gone ahead with an illegal convention. And the moment I came out, we started challenging everyone that we participated in the local government election, especially in North State. We participated in the government election on my own state as well. And in those states, we didn't go as well as it was supposed to be because INEC was also strongly behind the hijackers. So now we have resolved that by way of a law court's judgment. That was very, very declarative. That's the lower court that carried out this particular activity had no jurisdiction to intervene in an internal party affair. And that's been the position of the law court as well. Yes. So we're back, but we were never apart.
Okay, before coming to your own presidential ambition, second time, running, how is the preparation of your party in the forthcoming Ekiti and Osun elections? You have candidates?
Well, we have to replace the candidates because those who were put in to represent us were never members of our party. So we're in conversations with INEC to make sure that the legitimate candidates presented by the party will be on the ballot. So that will be resolved in a matter of days.
All right, now let's look at Sowore, the AAC presidential candidate. Is it a situation of, I also ran, a former presidential aspirant as a tag to the name? What are you really bringing to Nigerians when you consider your first attempt in 2019? That was woeful.
It wasn't woeful, it was the election itself that was woeful. It did not undertake the expectations of international standard of electioneering. And this has been discussed a lot about. I don't want to waste my time on it. The 2019 election, in my view, and I've spoken extensively about it, wasn't an election, it was a selection by political parties who were working with government security agencies and INEC. So I'm not running to add a tag to my name or put it on my CV that I was a former presidential candidate in Nigeria's general election. I'm running to save this country, to ensure that the right people run the right country. Right now, the wrong people are running the right country, and to ensure that the people of Nigeria benefit from what should be called democracy. And I am not just saying it, and I've said it so many times. When I was a student leader in this country, I invested my time and energy, my life, to ensure that we have democracy. And I'm one of the most disappointed persons today that some 29 years later, we have not attained the kind of democracy that we were fighting for as far back as 1993, because that was one major landmark in democratic struggle. It will be 2023 next year, and if 30 years after June 12 election, which was adjudged free and fair, was conducted. But here we are, we're still struggling with free and fair elections, we're struggling with totally, ballot snatching, manipulation of election results. Something we resolved as far back as 1993, when Abiola was voted into office, and some powers that be did not allow that process to take place. So we're back to ensure that 30 years later, the people who brought about genuine struggle for democracy are in charge of the democratic process in the country, and that I will be elected. And I honestly hope that people who are listening to me will understand that most of the candidates that have come out now never participated in the struggle for democracy. They don't care about democracy, they care about themselves, their cronies, and their political cause. But I do, and that's why I'm presenting myself on the clean slate. The Nigerian people deserve not just another election, but an election that produces a number of results that is in consonance with their expectations and aspirations as a people. That is where it is important, and that's why I keep saying that we are bringing about the revolutionary future for the Nigerian people, because this is just not how things should be.
Reigniting the revolutionary movement,
Yes.
all of this. How are you inculcating this down the lines of the Nigerian youth, particularly if what we saw during party primaries in Lagos State and some other parts of the country is anything to go by? Discouraging. It leaves a sour taste in the mouth where guns are used for, just primaries.
But not also forget that primaries are not duty of people. The voters or electors to carry out. Well, at the level of the parties, yes. But it's the same country where you had instances where people rose up in resistance against the status quo, even though they did some bits of police brutality. But you knew that their voice and their message was clear, that they were tired and sick of the status quo in the country, and they wanted to move they want to move in another direction. So what happened in the party primaries, of course, is why I am here to correct that anomaly in a democratic space where people just carry cordials, machetes, they kill people, they snatch ballots. But if you're talking about party primaries of violence, what do you talk about the money bags who hijack party primaries and dollarize them and just brazenly sell votes or capture votes to such an extent that you can no longer even trust the outcome of any of these democratic, experiments or processes that produce candidates. It's just so sad. So I'm in agreement with you that this party primaries, especially for the major legacy parties, did not fulfill any of the standards that's expected of them. But that's the reason why people like me are here, to change that narrative forever.
Okay, let's quickly look at some of your agenda. Let's look at the economy and structuring, it's a rising force in the area. Huge unemployment of youths and able-bodied Nigerians and the rest. What kind of magic wands are you going to bring to regenerate Nigeria's economy?
You don't need any magic wands. An economy cannot survive in a situation where the major managers of the economic levers of the country are criminally complicit. You have several, on the macroeconomic level, several rates, edging rates for the Naira. You made the Naira at 200 and something, now it's at 600. By the time this regime is over, we'll probably be at 1,000 Naira to $1. But you also have, and this is realistic, the central bank government who had no time to run around and manage the economy. He was running around trying to become president. And when he couldn't make it, keep him there. You make people lose, if they're within, from the international community perspective, lose interest in the managers of the economy. But most importantly, you can't have an economy where you have no production. You can't have production where you don't have power. You can't have interest and trust in your economic development from the investors that they talk so much about.
But why has it been so difficult
when you don't have the last security?
Yeah, why has it been so difficult in the last 40, 50 years for Nigeria to really attain some level of sustainability of the power sector?
The power sector is being brazenly sabotaged by those who are managing them, right? What countries in the world focus on is to generate electricity, distribute them, and ensure that they reach everybody who might be in need of it, or that may not even be in need of it. But when you have a miserable 4,000 to 7,000 megawatts of electricity, that is not even enough to power the London Underground, and you have people telling you every time that they're doing their best, that there's something wrong. But this came from leadership when you keep putting the wrong set of people in office or in power, whether you select or elect them. This is a result you will get. The same people who managed the oil windfall in the 80s are the ones that are managing the downfall of the country. In 2022, I'm talking about in the 70s, 80s. The man was there in 1983. This is what he did in 1983. Forcing people to queue up, beating them up, ensuring that there are violations of rights, not managing the economy the way they should. And then bringing back in 2015, he keeps doing the same thing. Then you re-elect him or select him in 2019. You are the ones digging your grave.
He was re-elected.
Well, I disagree with you.
No, you don't have to disagree with me.
Well, I'm a citizen, and I participated in the election. You did it.
Of course I did.
I was a presidential
civic responsibility here to the society.
Check whether your votes counted.
But that's not the issue here. Now the issue is Omoyele Sowore, presidential candidate of AAC. Sorry. Why do you think you make a better president?
I just explained to you that I've been around our democratic experiment for 30 good years. I was there in 89. In 1992, I was one of the student leaders with Omoyele was NAS president then, Femi Falana, Gani Fawemi, that said that Babangida must go. And I was what forced Babangida to organize elections in 1993 and then cancelled it. So how can you be questioning, the CV of a person who brought democracy, who knew how these things worked? And there's no major issue that happened in Nigeria since 1989 with regards to governance, with regards to elections, democracy, that I was not part of. Even when this country experienced a party-to-party electoral exchange in 2015, I was part of it. When there was someone who wanted to come on his third term, I was one of the people that frustrated it. When a man who was practically dead was made the president of this country, and when he was brain dead for 5 months, and they refused to hand over to his deputy, I was one of the people who was involved in it. In 1999, I was one of the people who fought up to the point the elections took place and left.
Your CV is...
I have a better CV than any other candidate. Let me tell you, to be fair with you, and I want to say this to Nigerians, in 1992, I contested as president of University of Lagos Student Union and won. In 1992, Atiku contested as the presidential candidate in SDP and lost. So you can imagine, even though they might be older than me, we've been around. Yes.
Thank you very much, Omoyele Sowore, the presidential candidate of the AAC. Thanks for coming on this.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria, they use computer. The leaders of Nigeria, they use radio where they turn the knob.